Hey everybody, welcome to homerecordingmadeeasy.com, visionrecordingstudios.com, and here on my YouTube channel. And today is an exciting day. Today we have a new piece of gear that I want to kind of show you and go over, and eventually over the next several videos demo for you. And it's sitting right beside me here in the box. We're going to do an unboxing video in a second because people seem to like unboxing videos. I have no idea why, but we're going to try it with this particular piece of equipment. So right beside me here I have the new Kemper profiler amplifier. I mean, it's not new. It's been around since about 2011, I believe, but it's new to me. I've been researching, kind of an all-in-one solution for both studio use and live use, and for my own personal playing. And I've been looking at the Kemper profiling amplifier for a few months now. And after watching lots of YouTube videos and seeing a lot of demonstrations online, I wanted to go ahead and make the jump and try to pull the trigger on this and see if it really lives up to the expectation that I have of this, and does it really live up to the hype that people talk about online. So we're going to do an unboxing video in a second here, and we're going to take a look at the Kemper profiler amplifier, and I'll give you my first impressions of it, and then over the next several videos we'll go ahead and we'll take a listen to tones and how it works with different types of applications in the studio and a live rig with different types of guitars, so on and so forth. And it should be a lot of fun. So join me for the Kemper profile amplifier right here on homerecordingmadeeasy.com, and let's go take a look at the unboxing video. Okay, so here we are. So let's take a look at this Kemper profile amplifier. So I purchased this from Sweetwater.com. I'm sure a lot of you watching this video know about Sweetwater. I buy most of my gear there. Fantastic customer service and fantastic people to deal with, and these things have been in and out of stock on a pretty regular basis over there. It took me a couple of weeks to actually get a hold of this, but I'm excited. This is going to be really cool. It's going to be a fun set of videos. So let's take a look in here. So this is just packed in a box here, which was in an outer box packed by Sweetwater with a bunch of bubble wrap and stuff in there. So it arrived in very good condition. No way it was going to get damaged. And if we take a look and open this up here, on the inside I can fold this forward so you can see it. It's packed pretty well here. So we have some nice foam, inserts here, kind of wrapped around the Kemper itself, and then looks to be a power cable here, which we can take out, and another power cable. I would assume that means for different, depending on which country you're from, what a power cord you would need. And then there's some documentation and such. So here's what it looks like on the inside of the box. Again, packed really well with the foam. And let's take it out and see what we got here. So this thing just slides right out. We got a cardboard insert. This is something that you don't see a lot today. Here is a actual hard copy manual, which today a lot of people have you download. A lot of these companies won't go through the expense of actually printing a hard copy. They want you to download a PDF online, which is pretty cool. But to be honest with you, I kind of like having a hard copy manual when I'm trying to work with a piece of gear where I can have it right in front of me and I'm not reading it on an iPad or on a computer screen. So this is kind of cool. I'm sure in a few different languages, since this is made in Germany. So we have a manual here, really cool. And then let's see here, if we take this out of the box, it's got a handle on the top here. And we have foam covering one end of it and on the other as well. Kind of toss the box over to the side here. And here is what we got. Hopefully you can see this. It's probably a little low in the frame here, but here it is wrapped up. Pretty good weight, probably 14, 15 pounds, somewhere in that ballpark. Let's take a look-see. So we have a couple of Kemper picks and some stickers, which are kind of neat. And then we have our safety instructions. We don't need to read that, right? Now let's pull this bad boy out. So this it's got a carrying handle here. Looks to be made out of some kind of leather, which is kind of nice, kind of a classy kind of a look to it. Throw the bag over to the side. And here is the Kemper profiler. I'll hold it up to the camera here so you can see it a little bit. All made out of metal, nice steel casing. Nice, what seems to be like metal knobs. One of the buttons feel pretty good on here. One of the things that I realized when I was watching this, watching the videos online on YouTube, was when you first look at this, it looks kind of strange, right? It looks like a, you know, a high-tech piece of gear, and it actually looks, even from the pictures, kind of cheap, and you go, God, it looks like a toy. Is it really built well? That was one of the concerns that I had, and I never have seen any YouTube videos kind of talking about the construction of it, and is it roadworthy? Is it a solid piece of equipment? And I can tell you just from touching the switches and the buttons, it feels pretty solid. It feels pretty hefty, probably, like I said, anywhere from 12 to maybe 15 pounds. You can look on their website and see what the weight of it is. But yeah, so here's the Kemper Profiler. So it's out of the box. It's pretty quick and easy. It's the size of a small, you know, a guitar amplifier head. If you can see next to me on my left, I have my Friedman PT20, the pink taco, and that's a small head. In comparison to that, it's actually a little bit smaller than the Friedman, which is kind of cool. So it's definitely compact and easy to lug around, not very heavy at all. And this is supposed to be kind of a Swiss Army knife of every guitar amplifier tone you could possibly imagine is supposed to be inside this box. So we're gonna find out. But that is the unboxing of the Kemper Profiler. So we'll come back. We'll come back in a second, and we'll kind of chat with you a little bit about you know, what made me go out and buy a Kemper Profile amplifier, and wondering, you know, if you're thinking about something like this kind of technology, you know, what some of the pros and cons to maybe having something like this, and is it worth the investment? So we'll talk about that in a second. Hey everybody, welcome back. So here we are with the Kemper Profiler amplifier. I plugged it in for the first time and just turned on the switch here on the front, turned it on. And the first thing it asked me to do was to go ahead and to set it up to my you know, date, time, and username. So when I create profiles of my amplifiers down the road and I upload them, let's say online somewhere, it'll have my user information, you know, who created the profile, when did they create the profile, so on and so forth. So just a quick 2-minute really setup, just to kind of register yourself to the unit. And the next step for me will be to actually go on to their website and to make sure that I have the latest firmware, which they tell you to do on the front screen here when you first turn on the unit, and then to download the free software called, I believe it's called Rig Manager, which will allow me to plug a laptop or any computer into the Kemper, so I can manage all the profiles that way, as opposed to doing everything right from the front of the unit, which is kind of neat. I'll have to learn more about that, and I'll bring that to you in future videos on how to use that, but that's kind of the gist of it from what I can tell. So as you can see now, it's all kind of turned on and lit up. It's probably hard to see what's on the front screen there from the glare of the lights. But again, it's a solid built unit. The switches are not all metal. Originally, I thought the knobs and the dials were kind of like metal knobs. They feel like they're plastic, but they don't feel cheap. It feels like it's a pretty roadworthy and pretty solidly built unit here. So I don't feel like it's just a cheap piece of gear, which honestly, my first impressions of it when I saw it online and on YouTube, although you see a lot of famous artists use this, and a lot of famous, you know, world-renowned recording studios are starting to adopt this technology. So you would think it would be built pretty well, and it comes with a pretty hefty price tag as well. But it looked kind of cheap to me when I first saw it, and I thought, geez, is this kind of going to be like a plastic housing and really cheap switches and dials? And I'm happy to report, if anyone else is wondering the same thing, no, that's not the case at all. Yes, the switches are plastic and the knobs are kind of plastic, but it's like a real solid heavy duty. It does not feel cheap. They feel really nice to turn, and when you press the buttons and press the switches, they don't feel cheap. They don't feel like they're going to break. They don't feel like they're not going to withstand the test of time. I believe it will, based on what I can tell. And again, the outer casing is all metal. The back is all metal as well. So it looks like it's a pretty solid unit here. So that was nice to kind of see when I first took it out of the box. So I guess the question is, well, why would you buy something like this? So let me tell you why I bought the Kemper. And I've been looking at this, as I said, for probably 2 or 3 months. I've been checking it out on YouTube. I've been listening and watching the different demonstrations of the Kemper, and some of those videos are quite old, from like 2011, and I believe the unit from a build point of view and whatnot is exactly the same as the unit that came out in 2011. The only difference is they've had a bunch of firmware updates software-wise, and now they, as you can see, this is a black and green color, where the original versions were in white, I believe, which I'm not a big fan of personally. So I've been looking at it for a few months for a couple of different reasons. So there's really four main reasons why I decided to maybe kind of take a chance on something like the Kemper. Now, in the past, I've used personally, modelers and things like some Line 6 products like the Pod. I've used the Boss, I think it was the GT8 and the GT10 in the past. I've used, the Avid 11 rack in the past. And again, that technology is quite old, several years old. And for back then, they were pretty good. But they never really sounded like a real amp. They've always sounded like a modeler. And a lot of people that have used them, that have kind of maybe stopped using that kind of technology and went back to like a real tube amp, you know why. Because it just never sounded like a real tube amp did in the room, no matter which one of those modelers that you used back then, at least in my experience. And so when the Kemper came around, my first impressions of it before I started doing research on it, it's like, oh, it's just another one of these modelers. It really is a computer in a box. It's not the real thing. And maybe the technology has gotten better, but it's still not, it's still modeling. Well, what I come to find out after doing some research on the Kemper is it's not really modeling. They call it a profiler. And the difference between a modeler and a profiler, I guess the short answer is, a modeler, such as like the Line 6 Pod and those kinds of units, are really just a computer algorithm that was derived to kind of, simulate or emulate what a real tube amplifier should sound like, or what something sounds like. Now, I know it's a lot more technical than what I just said. Believe me, I get that. So before you write me the nasty comment, I understand that. But that's kind of the gist of what it really is. Whereas the Kemper, the way the Kemper is different, yes, it's a computer in a box, but what makes the Kemper unique is that it really takes a snapshot, or a picture, if you will, or a snapshot of the tone of your real amplifier and stores it in this box. So when you create a profile, you're actually miking up a real guitar amplifier with real microphones, real preamps, in a real studio or in your bedroom or whatever, and you can capture that tone in the Kemper. And some of the demonstrations I've seen online is when they go back and forth between the original amp and the profile, that they're just about dead nuts exact. In some cases, at least over YouTube, the videos that I saw, I couldn't hear the difference. And a lot of people will claim the same thing. It is an exact representation of the way that amp was in the room, the way it was recorded. Now, you have to have good recording techniques. You got to have, the right microphones, the right environment to record that amp in its optimum state to get it into the Kemper. And you can do that yourself, or the Kemper already comes loaded with, I think it's a couple of hundred. I haven't read the manual yet. This is 5 seconds after I unboxed it. I'm shooting this video, but at least 100 or more profiles already created, where all that upfront work is done. And then there are some other third-party people out there that are selling profiles really inexpensively, that have some of the the most sought-after guitar amplifiers, vintage and modern amps in the world, and they record these profiles in world-class studios with very high-end microphones, and with great preamps through analog consoles and those kinds of things, and they capture the best recording possible of a specific amplifier, and then again store it in here. And you can buy those profiles online and download them to your Kemper. So now you can have, for example, a 1972 Marshall Plexi recorded with the best microphones, with the best preamps and the best studios in the world, and have it at your fingertips. That's the concept, and that's really unique and new to the guitar recording playing world. That's never been done before, and that's what really intrigued me when I figured out, after looking into it a little bit further, that this is not just a modeler. It's different than that. And so we're going to put it to the test in future videos. So that was the first thing that intrigued me to look at it. So in my studio world, and some of the needs for a Kemper profile in my daily workflow are as such. So being a recording engineer, and I do lots of mixing nowadays for clients, more so than I do tracking of artists here in my studio. And more now I'm getting sessions that are sent to me with DI guitar tracks. Which is great. Sometimes they will send me a track of a guitar that was recorded through an amplifier, and then they'll also give me the DI track where I have some options that if I want to do reamping to put other guitar tones into that on that DI track, I could do that. Now, I reamp guitars a lot here prior to getting the Kemper. But unless you have several different amplifiers at your disposal, or if you want to use plugins, you can go that route as well. But if you want to do it with real amplifiers, well, you have to physically have those amplifiers, right? Then you physically have to have the cabinets, and you have to have the microphones, and you have to have all the studio equipment to be able to do that reamping effectively. And then it takes time as well. It's not something that you set up and it happens in 5 seconds. There's a process involved there. It's time consuming. So I don't have a large array of tube amplifiers. I have a small handful of them, but I don't have a wide palette of different types of amplifiers. So my reamping was kind of limited, unless I would use plugins. And although some of the plugins today are great, and I use a lot of the universal audio stuff, it's not the same as an amp. They don't sound the same to me. They're pretty darn close. They're great products for what they are, but I would much rather reamp through a real amplifier. So using something like the Kemper, from what I'm told and what I've seen, and I haven't learned yet, is that the reamping with this is super simple, and we're going to do that in future videos together. So a nice all-in-one reamping box here, again, to have any kind of amplifier tone I possibly want, whether it's a real glassy, clean, vintage Fender type of a vibe, or if it's a real high-end, real heavily distorted, high gain, heavy metal, Engel type of a sound, or a Marshall, or a Dumble, or anything in between, you can get all out of one box. You don't have to have a whole studio full of amplifiers, which is fantastic. So that was one of the reasons why I was taking a look at this for a while. I thought, geez, having the ability to reamp with all the possibilities that are out there that are available all in one box is really powerful. The second reason I really wanted to take a look at the Kemper as well is on a personal note, nowadays I'm getting out of the studio finally and actually going out and playing live with a band again, which is super exciting. I haven't done that in about 15 years. I'm playing with some old friends of mine. We're playing kind of in a cover band. It's kind of a rock and roll cover band, classic rock, modern rock, everything kind of in between. And so over the last several months, I went out and I was starting to put together my own personal guitar rig. And I have sitting next to me here, which you may not be able to see it. Oh, you can probably see the corner of it. I'm using a Friedman PT20, the Pink Taco, through the Friedman 112 cabinet, which is a great sound. It's an amazing sounding amplifier, I think. One of the best rock and roll sounds you'll get if you're playing classic rock, Zeppelin, Bad Company, ZZ Top, that kind of a stuff, which is some of what my band is doing. And I was building a pedal board with some delays and a compressor and reverbs and such, and that was really cool. I was having a lot of fun with that. But as we started to play and put together a set list of a different variety of music, I started to think about the possibilities of having different types of guitar tones for different songs, where maybe it's not always a Les Paul into a Marshall style amplifier like the Friedman. Maybe it's more of a Fender Strat into a Fender amp or a Tweed or something like that. Again, it started to open up some possibilities and give me more tonal options, which I thought would be really great for the project that I'm personally working in now. So again, you can have 2 or 3 tube amps that you can drag to a rehearsal room, or you can drag out to a gig if you wanted to do that. Or you can use something like the Kemper, where it's really small, really compact, really light, easy to move around. And again, why have 3 amps on stage when you can have 1, right? So I thought from using it in a band, especially if you're playing different styles of music, something like the Kemper is a great solution because you have every amp tone you could possibly want inside of one box. So that was kind of the the kind of the second reason for me to take a look at the Kemper. And then thirdly, kind of, you know, along the same lines, I was looking kind of for like a Swiss Army knife of guitar. And although it remains to be seen whether this is the perfect solution, but it just gets me really close to, again, being able to use it in the studio as reamping, to be able to take it out into a club and play with my band, to be able to, like I said, reamp, be able to, you know, when I'm writing music, you know, to be able to just plug it directly into my audio interface and get things down quickly where I don't need to put an amplifier out in another room and mic it up with a cabinet and all that other stuff. Again, it makes things quick and easy, and all the tones are kind of right here. And so that's what kind of finally pushed me over the edge to say, you know what, let's give this a try. I've seen it online. It looks really promising. I would love nothing more to say, yes, this is going to be the future of all my guitar stuff, and sell off some of my other gear to pay for this. And by the way, this is the powered version of this. They make a non-powered head like this, and also a rack mounted version, and they make a powered with a 600 watt solid state power amplifier head and rack mount. And I bought the powered head. I wanted to spend the extra money because, again, I don't only want to use it in the studio, I do want to take it out in a club. And although if you have the non-powered head, you can hook up an external power amplifier to it, or you can use your guitar amping, patch it through the effects return, from what I've understand, and to power it that way. I just thought that's an extra piece of gear to have to drag around. It's another thing to have to rack up. It would be nice to have in one small package and not have to drag anything else with me. Now, the other thing that I did not get yet that you can get with this is the remote controller, the floorboard. And I'll put an image up on the screen so you can see that if you haven't. And that's kind of a one cable out of the floorboard into the back of the Kemper, and it's that can be the pedal board, where you can change between different rigs. You can turn effects on and off, and so that might be a great solution if I'm really happy with the tone and the flexibility of this. Like I'm hoping, I'm probably going to go out then and invest in the floorboard as well. So again, it cuts down on my pedal board, and having all these pedals, you can have it all with inside one nice little package. And again, the other thing I failed to mention in the Kemper is not only do you have all these great amps, but you have stomp box effects, you have reverbs, delays, pitch shifters, and probably a whole bunch of other stuff that I'm not even aware of yet. Again, all inside one box. So yes, it's similar to, I shouldn't say it's similar to a modeler. It's got the same kind of thing where it's a computer in a box, and it's recreating something that you recorded in here, but it's different from a modeler, and that was the big thing for me. I did not want to buy something that was similar to like a Line 6 pod or anything like I had in the past, because it just didn't do it for me. And so a lot of tone junkies out there that are using these things are swearing by them, and we're going to see, like I said, in future videos. So that's kind of the introduction here to the Kemper Profiler Amplifier. You know, thanks for taking the time to watch the unboxing and kind of give you the 50-cent tour of why I bought it. And then in future videos, we'll get up close and personal with it. I'll take you through all the controls. I'm going to try to learn this thing inside and out over the next, say, 2 months or so, and I'm going to be recording videos along the way to kind of give you, you know, my first impressions of it when I'm starting to work with it, and you can kind of learn this along with me, and it'll be kind of a beginner's guide to learning the Kemper, as I'm brand new and I've just opened it, you know, 5 minutes ago, and we're going to start together from the beginning and learn it together, and you may decide it's something you want to try. So if you're a producer or someone in a home recording studio that records other guitar players or mixes lots of sessions where you get DI tracks sent to you, this might be a great solution for you. Or if you're also a guitar player, and maybe you're not an engineer at all, but you're looking for lots of tones that sound just like the real thing, that are the sound of the real thing, in one nice little package, this could be something that you may want to take a look at as well. So join me in the next video, and we'll take a look at the next piece of the Kemper video series is what I'm going to call it, and there'll be a playlist on my YouTube channel all for Kemper videos. So until next time, this has been Dave with HomeRecordingMadeEasy.com. For more training, tips, tricks, concepts, and techniques around everything home recording, mixing, and mastering, go out to HomeRecordingMadeEasy.com. And if you have not done so already, go out to the YouTube channel, out to YouTube, search for Home Recording Made Easy, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Not only will I have a lot of Kemper videos coming up in the future, but I have close to 200 videos around recording, mixing, and mastering, and some other product demos of things that you can use in your home studio. And then finally, go out to Facebook and please follow me on Facebook. Give me a like and let me know, leave a comment on my wall, say hello, introduce yourself. I love meeting new people, and I love talking to my followers and my students. And if you have any questions at all, you can always contact me through my website, homerecordingmadeeasy.com, and I will respond to you. I promise. You send me an email, you will get a response back. And until next time, this has been David with homerecordingmadeeasy.com, and I will speak to you guys all soon. Take care.